game, but you walk onto a field with a certain sense of confidence with the team that you have. Coming into an event like this, an environment like this, is there a different sense of confidence, a different sense of excitement with what you have?
I mean, we're excited. It's anytime you get to media day, it's one of those the kind of benchmarks in your timeline that, hey, you get to this point, it's close. And watching our team throughout the summer, the way they've worked, the growth that we've had, the physical growth, the mental growth. I mean, I think our guys have approached this off season with the right mentality. And it's a daily process. It's something that we're working to put ourselves in the best position for August 3rd and the opportunity to get on the field and go start putting on display to ourselves what this team's going to be. And I've really enjoyed watching this team grow. I've enjoyed the relationships. I've enjoyed the work ethic. I've enjoyed the response. I mean, we're challenging these guys in every area, and because we have to get better, and that's the sole focus on within our program is just improvement. And I think these guys, they're starting to celebrate the hardship of what it is to get better, and it's been fun to watch.
This week ramps up the noise of external expectations. How do you handle that internally, and how do you go about it day to day?
Well, it's still, the internal is what we control. And, the internal expectations, there's nothing that we're going to hear on the outside that's going to be more than what we have inside. And that was the case a year ago, because it can work both ways. And, there's going to be, your response to every situation is dictated on what you have inside. And you can get distracted by the outside. That's very whether people don't think you're going to be worth a crap or people think that you're going to be the greatest thing on earth. I mean, you can get distracted, but it's about showing up every day and truly pushing yourself to what we know and we believe that we can become. And we don't control any other program out there. We don't have any influence on that, but we can show up and work to be the best of what I believe this team can be. And if we can grow through the season, continue to build as a team, build as a family, become more consistent and better fundamentally. We've got tremendous playmakers like that. I'm certain of, and and it's at every level, within our team. Now, the competition, the mindset, that's gonna determine what shows up on Sunday night there in that first weekend in September. That's what we have to build towards, so we can be in the best position to go play to our capabilities.
Are there new challenges that come with having such a veteran team?
Yes, absolutely. Because you have a veteran team, and a lot of guys have experienced some different levels of success, and complacency is something that it's human nature. We all want to be comfortable, and when you see growth, when you see, last year, winning 10 games, that's a benchmark number that you look at Florida State, it's something that's on the wall, so something to be celebrated. But is it just about the number, or is it about going and being your best, getting better? And that's what fights complacency. Being grateful for the opportunity that we have. That's where every day you can hear a perspective of where you are and what that looks like. But if you have a gratitude for where you are, a gratitude for the opportunity that's ahead of you, and a gratitude of who you get to do it with, that's going to help push you to do the extra work, to be able to continue to grow and strive for that. So with a leader, a veteran team with great leaders, the responsibility is almost higher, because they've got to be the example. And it's one of the things I was really proud of in the spring. I mentioned it to you guys. I thought Jordan and Jared and Johnny, those were some of our most improved players coming out of spring practice. Well, when you see that sense of urgency and growth, that's gonna affect everybody else. And to be able to take that into the summer, I think it's been really good. But it's a daily challenge. Because you got guys that have come in from other programs that have experience. We have a lot of starting game experience on our football team. There's going to be 22 guys that get to run out there first. Now we're hopeful and excited to be able to have depth and to be able to have guys that can go but there's going to be feelings and emotions that go with all that too. And where do you go in that moment of in a discouraging moment, in a tough moment? And so the experience is great, but as we move forward, it's the daily experiences that we have of what we're going to do with it. And so that's yes, a long answer to there are some great challenges, and there's some things that are much tougher because of the experience. But I think our guys have done a good job in handling that.
You mentioned the external expectations. There's Heisman hype for Jordan Travis. How much have you talked to him about that, and just to help him focus on the game and not worry about the expectations?
I mean, it's something that don't get me wrong. I'm glad. I want people to be talking about Florida State, our team, our players, each individual. I hope every player is up for a national award. Right, because it's something that it's a celebration of what you've done, but ultimately you've got to go do it, and that's where I always watch for it in the work. And Jordan is one of those humble people that's out there, and as he's grown through this journey, I mean it's seeing the outside world get excited about what I know that and who I know that I get to coach. I mean, that's a good thing. And he stayed very focused on it. Before last season, I think it was a year ago spring, our exit meeting. I told Jordan at the end of it, I was like, I want you to walk into the lobby, and I want you to go look at the 3 Heisman trophies. And I told him at that point, before we started a game last year, that I believe you can win one. Now, that's a bold statement, but it's also I believe in him. I believe in the growth that I've seen and the growth that I know that's still ahead. And it's also one of those awards that it takes everybody, and so we're all a part of that. But I think that when you watch him work, he's got it right here, and he's got it right there, and it's why people follow him too. And so I think our guys are all handling the outside, I'd say noise, but I think they're handling it well. But I'm going to be there to assist them if we ever lose track.
What had you seen from him to that point that made you confident to say that, and why did you tell him that?
Because I believe in him, and I've watched him. I've watched him in meeting rooms. I watched him in I know the ability. I know the things that throughout the course of his career. I know what we were going to ask him to do, and as he's grown in confidence in the rhythm, the timing, everybody points to him as this just unbelievable athlete, which he is. And when everybody's quick to tell me how good of an athlete he was when we first got here, but he is a quarterback. He's accurate. He can push the ball down the field. He's smart. He's got all of the. I've been fortunate to coach a lot of very productive quarterbacks in my career, and he's a special one. And I believed in where it would go, and there's nothing that he's done that has shocked me. Nothing. And I think he's still just scratching the surface to where he's going, which excites me. So it is. I've got a lot of belief in him, and sometimes you just have to. The reason I told him is I wanted him to understand and let him know it's okay for him to believe in all the things that he could do, because he's not in it alone. And I think it's been a fun journey to watch and to see how he's grown and developed. And like I said, he's just getting started.
Your quarterbacks throughout your career have gotten better and better and better. Is there usually like an epiphany moment when you're like, okay, they've got it, or when did you feel like Jordan? Okay, he's.
Yeah, I mean it's a process of growth, because you say you're going to get better with reps. You're going to get better with the experiences that you have. There's all different points of. When does he start seeing things and communicating the way that I see it or communicate? That helps. That really, once that point happens where you can have those conversations and it goes to a next level, and now you're getting to the finest of details of what you see or what you expect, and that's where there's been a lot of those kind of benchmark moments with him. But I think. You look on the field, you can point to different games. I mean, it's when he came back 2 years ago in the Syracuse game, and he was, I don't even remember if he practiced on the Tuesday, but it was just a mindset moment. I don't it was, I don't care how I feel, I'm going to play. And you get to a 2-minute drive at the end, and he had to do what he did, and you win a game, and then the next week going on the road and against expectations or whatever. I mean, to play how he did, and then whether it's a Miami game or even the last game of the season, that year he got knocked out in the first quarter, and I still find that as one of the moments where when he came back. And he brought us back to a position to have a chance in that. Didn't work out, and that's where, like, you look back at experiences, things don't always work out in the fairy tale finish, but it's still the moment and the experience that you can grow from. And even in that moment, I thought that was big for us, and carry that into the season. And then he has a year. He has a year of all of it. Starting off the way that we did. I remember the throw, against LSU where he had to. They blitzed us. He had to, he got a great one-on-one. He made the choice to step into the throw and to be able to hit Pokey for the touchdown. Like, that was one of those moments. Like, that was a real life hit. And you see that, and then just how he's grown. I mean, he's a great example. He's a great example for all. I mean, of just, if you continue to believe, you continue to push, you surround yourself with people that see that in you as well. I mean, it's exciting, and I think there's going to be some of those moments here in spring, which we saw, summer, fall camp, and then obviously throughout the season that he's going to continue to be on that journey with.
You've welcomed some new pieces since spring wrapped up, Keon, Coleman being one of the main ones. What have you seen from those guys so far, and what has you excited about them going into preseason?
I love their approach. Keon, Fat, both those guys have Destyn. So it goes. If I say Fat, that's his nickname. So it's like, so just kind of go with it. Fat, but he's not fat. So you got. But those two guys have been remarkable coming in. Just seeing the work. And that we talk all the time. Is that, that's got to be in the DNA. And Keon he's got a great spirit. Destyn's got a great spirit about himself. But when you watch the work, I mean, they're building respect on a daily basis. I mean, you can come in from any program, you can have whatever you want on your resume, whatever your journey's been. When you step in that locker room, you step on that field in that weight room, it comes down to the work, and and they've embraced that. And both, I believe, have special talents. Obviously Keon's a little bit more experienced in just where he is, and for his size, his speed, the movements that I've got a chance to watch and see, just in the work, like, well, he's gonna bring a great dynamic to our team. Same thing with those other guys. Seeing growth, from all over our team. It's been fun watching Winston Wright going from spring into the summer. He's taken some steps, and we knew that spring would be a kind of a snapshot of where it was, but I think he's really progressing, and I think he's had a great summer. You can kind of go across our football team, and there'll be another addition going into fall camp as we get to that. But I like the breakup of this team. I like the way that they've you kind of come together. Some of the freshmen, defensive backs, Blake, that yes, I mean, we got guys that can run. They're big, they're long, they're athletic. It's gonna be a fun group, and as they're earning opportunity and role, I mean, it's gonna be exciting to watch those guys, get into practice.
Did you see the dunk that Jared and Jordan talked about with Keon windmilling in jeans at your house?
Yeah, at my house. Yeah, it was like, welcome to Florida State. Yes. It was it was pretty impressive.
When you took a job, 2020, you took a job, obviously the COVID year, but when you talk about the climb and rebuilding culture, is this, and obviously the games have to be played, but is this kind of what you envisioned for Florida State when you took the job and like set out your expectations?
Yeah, I mean, this is a special place, and I've got a great responsibility. And there's a way that we need to do things at Florida State, and you have an example, one of the greatest examples in history of success and sustained success. There's a lot of programs that you can find a way to win for a season. You can find a way to have those moments, but to sustain it's got to be built off of true values. It has to be real, and to see the growth of our players, to see the decisions of guys wanting to be here. I mean, last year there was guys could have taken, taking other opportunities, going to the NFL, do whatever the case might be, but they want to be here. They want to be a part of it. There is a joy and a pride in being a Florida State Seminole. That's a necessity. And when you talk to all the former players and coaches and just who we represent, I mean, that's important. And it's what, I love coaching this team. And I knew coming in, that was one of the reasons when I wanted to be here, because I wanted to be a part of that. And we're just getting started. Yes, there's been some great strides, and we're excited about this year. But we're just getting started to where we're going, and it's about each of us showing up on a daily basis with that objective in mind, and making the most of the opportunity that we get to impact. And we got a great group that I get to be a part of, and we got to continue to push to that standard.
You got Coach Bowden on your tie. How much of all you just talked about is him and living up to that?
I mean, absolutely. And I still, I think to that first month when I was there, and it was February, and Coach Bowden came up. Sue Hall brought him up to the office, and watching him walk down that hallway and just sitting in my office, and he told me, you stay true to who you are, and you continue to make an impact to everybody that you get to do it around. And it's just, it's special. I started by, after he visited, came into the staff room. I think I've told a story before. I remember opening the door and having him walk in and seeing the staff, and seeing Odell and Ron Dugan and seeing their face. Like, that will be the moment that for all of the wins, for all of the championships and the stories, that will be the moment that spoke to me as loud about who Coach Bowden was and what he meant to players more than anything else. And that is, I take that as a challenge. I take that as part of that responsibility is that however many years from now, what's Jordan Travis if I walk into a room, what's that going to look like? And it's just, I want that. And when it comes to our program, there was a standard. And did every year finish exactly how they wanted, or but every experience built them for who they were and what makes our program just such a special one to be a part of. And so, I think about that often. And it's right behind my desk. I got his letter, and I look at it, and I'm grateful for that moment I got.
Understanding that you guys are still embarking on this journey with you, like from when you first got here, what's the area of growth that maybe you take the most pride into where you guys are today?
I think the embrace of work. And I say that like we have guys that I think that we built trust in what that's going to look like. And when we say work, everybody thinks, well, how hard are they running, or how hard are they practicing? Like, work establishes toughness. Work establishes relationships. Like, if you come into our program and all you do is just focus on yourself, you're not going to get very far. It's about who you get to do it with, but that takes work. It takes time, and you have to develop relationships. You got to build trust within each other. So, and then. And one of the things we have to continue to grow in is, embracing the hard moments. Like, that's where you go into a season and nobody's, like right now, every player on our team, I've said this, when I came to Florida State year one, I expected to win every single game. That was my expectation. And that didn't work out. You go look at the record, there wasn't a whole lot of those at the beginning, right? But in those moments when it didn't necessarily go how you wanted, it's still the response. And you have to be looking for those moments daily. Well, this is hard, this is challenging, and I don't necessarily want to do this, but am I willing to achieve what I can? And I think our guys, that's been something that we were talking about it last night, coming in with Jordan, Jared, and Kalen. Two of those guys have been here since I walked through the door, and that's the story. But it's also the legacy we get to leave, and what they get to leave, for the future. And that's one of the things that we really talked a lot about, and it's probably the thing I'm most proud of, because that's helped establish our toughness, which I'm proud of. It's when you watch how we finish, that's how I'm proud of that. What we do academically, but it all still comes back to the work. And so it's probably the trait that I'm most proud of, but it's also an area we got to continue to grow.
Do last one.
You mentioned trust, and like someone like Kalen was here at the beginning, right? But he gets benched his first year and he pushes through it and buys in on you guys and vice versa. Like, how does that trust get developed with someone like that who maybe was hurt initially by that?
You got to be consistent. Like, you don't, the consistency is key. And, you know, there's plenty of things that happen that don't go the way you want or the way that you envision or what you know, we all have these objectives and dreams and, you know, the picture perfect journey, but then life happens. And it's what you do in those moments of real life that, you know, I have to make hard choices, right? And there's a standard to how we're going to operate and what we want it to look like, what we want it to be. And, you know, I tell people all the time, Florida State's not for everybody. Players, coaches, it's not for everybody. It's for the real ones. It's for ones that embrace that in the moment when you have adversity show up. Do you believe enough in yourself, who you get to do it with, you know, the plan that's in place for you to be the best you. That's what Kalen DeLoach, I've enjoyed watching his journey as much as anybody, because, you know, he's had to go through it as well. And it wasn't always, but, you know, he chose to work. He chose to push. He's opened some doors that probably he didn't even, you know, necessarily, you know, think were possible there at the beginning. And, you know, but he went through it. And now he's getting to share that and to live that, you know, to others and, you know, help make him the player that he is.